So everybody, this is Vince with Listings to Leads. And you should be able to see my screen now, and we're all going to get started here. This is the basic call for new clients. I do see some old clients on here, and we're always happy to see that because there's so much changing. We're always adding new functionality, so definitely keep in touch with us, and I'm glad to see somebody coming back. Because I'm not exactly sure how you found this as new clients, there's a lot of chat groups and there's a lot of new technology that's exciting. We are going to start with the basics, but what we're going to talk today about is how to use listings to leads, how to market, and what we really focus on, which is generating buyer leads, seller leads, and referrals. Beyond that, and one thing we're going to kind of tackle at the end of the call is just some of the incredible success we're seeing with combining our tools with Facebook. Okay, so their Facebook pay-per-click advertising. If you were really focused on lead generation in the past 5 years in real estate, one of the largest and most exciting areas was actually Craigslist. And Craigslist took a dramatic change last year at the end of the year. And at that point, Facebook really started to become a huge, important place. And now we're seeing, as our clients have been using our platform in combination, that we're getting incredible results. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But we're going to jump into the basics. So if you don't know this already, you can sign up right here and get 14 free days. Once you set that up, our support people are going to go through and kind of put together your branding stuff, your logo, your links, your brand, your banner, your pictures, all that. Get your account ready and start sending you instructions. So when you start receiving those instructions, I recommend you just respond and say, hey, can I schedule a walkthrough? And our support team will get on the phone and call you and show you all little things that we're going to actually cover right now. Okay, so I'm going to log in, and once you have your user ID and password, you can log in at the top of Listings to Leads, and you'll pop in. So as I said, one of the most exciting things going on right now is some of the traction we're having on Facebook. And right here, when we log into the account, you're going to see that there's a recorded webinar about one of our office clients that just signed up with us a little while ago, and has taken just a handful of listings and generated tons of results and actionable leads, and we're super psyched. So there's actually a couple quotes here from different agents, and this one here is actually what's her name, Tamara from Remax, is saying, hey, I did exactly what you did on your webinar, and I'm inundated with a tsunami of leads, right? So that's awesome. We're psyched about it. I want to make sure you know that you should be looking at this, because you should be really taking advantage of Facebook for what it is right now for the foreseeable future, at least the next year or two. So I'm clicking out to the side of that, and I'm bringing us to our home page. And I want to point out, as I said, we focus on buyer leads, seller leads, and referrals. So right here, this seller lead generation button is what you need to look at if you're interested in generating seller leads, okay? And you're gonna see that there are 3 steps. Step 1 is get the property valuation page created. And it says see the video below. There's a video here, I don't know if we can see it, it's taking a little while to pull up. It's about a 7-minute video, and it shows you how to create a landing page that is super effective, and to create that page takes about a minute. It's not a ton of time. But the next link, number 2, says see here how to advertise it on Facebook. So if your goal is to generate listing leads, you want to get that tool on Facebook. You can do other things with it. You can put it on Google, and you can put it in Bing and Yahoo, and you can put it on print, and you can do all these other things. But if you want a fast return for low money and high results, take the page and put it on Facebook and use the advertising as you see in step 2. Okay? Those instructions are on the home page because this is so vital and so important and so effective. Down here is an open house lead generation. Again, it's marketing tools for the open house. It generates leads. Get started before. Don't do it on Friday if the open house is on Saturday. Give yourself some time to get those tools out on the market and generate some leads. There's also a listing presentation here which can present the tools that we present or we provide for you that are going to help you win listings. So there's a recording there of how to present that. There's the actual listing presentation under that button. Really useful. Please use it. When you get set up you kind of fill out a form, right? You put your name and you put your website, and et cetera, et cetera. And it should all go here. But I want to just point out a couple things right here. This is my email address. If you have an assistant or you have somebody that you want to get your tools, or you want somebody to be copied on leads, you can sort of put a different email address here, check a box here, over here on the side. One says tools, one says leads. Craigslist reply to email, I don't even think we need that because Craigslist has changed so dramatically in the past. The MLS email and data participant, that's how we map your listings in. So, you know, we want those to be correct, and once our support team gets that set up, you're kind of good to go. You can change colors and choose flyer templates here. One of the things in the setup, we're going to make sure these tools that are designed to market for you get sent directly to you, and by checking this box, that's what it means. One thing that we really like to see is that the tools go directly to the seller, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. But you would check that box here, and then you take a step at the listing level, and you get these tools to go right to the seller. You'll get copied, but the client will have that, and they're going to have some instructions, and we're going to talk about that. You can also, if you have a YouTube channel, connect your YouTube station here, and the instructions on how to do that are here. If you use Wise Agent, we can drop your leads right into Wise Agent. If you use Top Producer, you can put your credentials there. We'll do it there. And if you've got social media, things like Facebook, Twitter, etc., you can put them here, and that's kind of that, okay? So you save that one time, and you're kind of good to go. So from there, we're actually going to go to the listings page and get into the top tools that I really want you to focus on for generating buyers, okay? When we get here, we'll see an actual training calendar, and that training calendar, you know, it's kind of what we're doing here today. Today is a live call. We're doing it today, but there's also some recorded calls if you just have time to go look at it going forward. So before we go into looking at these listings, I see a question here, so I'm going to answer that. I have no audio. Will replay be up? It will be on Facebook. Do you have Market Leader? Can leads be directed there? Yes and no. Market Leader does not provide an API for, oh, it looks like audio is breaking up badly. So everybody hold on a minute, and I'm going to put this video on pause, and I'm going to dial into my, directly to the conference call. So hold on 1 minute, okay? Computer, and that's horrible for you guys. So my apologies, but the recording's back on. So there are a couple of questions that popped up while I was kind of transitioning that audio system. One, is this does this have a CRM? And no, it does not have a CRM. However, there was another question that was kind of different, and that was, does this integrate with Market Leader? And right now it doesn't. From our understanding, Market Leader does not have an API to pass listings directly into the back of that system. That being said, we work with thousands of agents that use Market Leader. We work with, you know, a lot of offices that use Market Leader, and some of the lead generation we actually drive to your Market Leader site, okay? So when we look at, let's just jump here and go to the single property website, and let's talk about the kind of leads that get generated. This is a just sold ad. The listing in our system, you can market the same home, coming soon, just listed, open house, virtual tour, under contract, active contingent, price reduced, and just sold. This is an important piece of how we build a presence for you. It's an important piece of how we build referrals for you, because we want to get a message out multiple times on the same home and get this seen. So what we're talking about right here is that Market Leader piece. People can contact you over here on the left, get a final price, schedule a showing, things like that. Or they can click a link like this Maple Grove Homes for Sale, and this is actually driving to a Market Leader website. So when the consumer registers on that site, well, that lead is already baked into your system, right? So some lead generation occurs on your site. Those links that we were looking at here are embedded in the e-flyers, in the Facebook tools, in the single property websites, and in the virtual tours, okay? So that's a fantastic, great way to generate buyer leads. So we kind of answered, oh, I got one more question. I'm going to jump in, hit that. And let's see here, stealth site leader via what's my home worth. Now, what is my house worth, or free list of foreclosures, or a lead capture form, or follow this home? When somebody has to fill out a form in our system, that lead is not going to be passed to market leader. It's going to be emailed directly to you, and it will be in the leads tab up above. There's actually a leads tab in your account. You can download it, but that's kind of what it is. So I'm going to save the rest of the questions for a little bit later. Let's talk about buyer leads, okay? What do I do when I get a listing in here, and what should I be thinking of first and foremost, okay? So first of all, the 4 tools that get the most traction are this single property website, the virtual tour, the e-flyer, and Facebook. So for the bulk of your traction to market this home, and the ability to get links and clickbacks on hyperlinks and to get leads, are those 4 tools. I'm going to talk about the other ones, but these are the best ones to get, to get leads. So let's click on a single property website and talk about why that's the case. This single property website has whatever hyperlinks on the left that you want to interact with. You can go to Maple Grove, or you can have a link that says Lafayette Homes, or whatever is important. You might have a link that says Lafayette Homes under 900,000, or you might have a link that, whatever is relevant to your market, you create a hyperlink there, and that can drive to your website and ideally capture a lead. Now, if you don't have a good website that can convert traffic to a lead, you may not want to do that. But if you do, you definitely want to do that. So the thing about the single property website, we'll email it to you, and we'll automatically email it once the listing hits the system. This is a great tool to share, right? You can share it to Google+, you can share it to Pinterest, you can share it to Facebook and Twitter. If you have social media strategies, that's the fastest way to share it. If you're working in an area where different languages are being used, you can actually click this button and have it translated. Here's a Czech, if you're dealing with somebody with the Czech Republic. Boom, it just translates the page, right? And then you can send it out that way, or you can market it that way. That's cool, but this is really great for sharing to social networking. It's got all the information, it's got all the lead generation, so we definitely recommend it. And when you do that, you get a lot of eyeballs, and then you get click-throughs. So the next tool is the virtual tour. Now, the virtual tour, we again focus on the lead generation. So when we click on branded virtual tour, we're going to see an auto-generated virtual tour. You don't have to upload photos. We take them from the MLS, and we stitch them together, and we put them in a system, in a site that has the same lead generation hyperlinks right on the side. So this is an important piece for lead generation, because people see this and they click it and they become a lead, right? So one of the ways, and this kind of depends on, I got to change this back to English. One of the things that are important is when we put this out on the internet, people can look at it, and 1/3 of the people that look at our tools actually click a link like this to fill something out. So what should we be, what should we do with the virtual tour? That's probably the first question. It's auto-generated, so copy this link and put it in the systems where related to what you have. If you're with Keller Williams, you can put it in KWLS, they'll syndicate it out for you. If you're with a Realogy brand, put it in your Crest system, they'll syndicate it out for you. And if you're not with any of those companies, go directly to Zillow and Trulia with a free account, edit your listing and put it there. Why? You know that your listings are already on those sites, right? You probably mapped over from the MLS, and they're over there, and you may or may not be getting any leads from that. Perhaps your listing's on Trulia, and there's somebody paying for an advanced zip code, and they're the pro on top of even your listings. Well, you're not going to benefit a whole lot from that. However, if you put your virtual tour inside there, like this client has, if the consumer has some interest in that property, they can click that virtual tour, and this is one of our virtual tours. It's scrolling through the images, but it's including the links right here that are relevant. This home is for sale in Roseville, so they put a link here that says, what is your home worth? And Roseville homes for sale, and search all homes. So now Zillow and Trulia, which are high traffic websites, are able to, you're able to put your listings in there. Look at a consumer can look at a virtual tour, click a link in the virtual tour, get away from Zillow, get away from Trulia, get away from Realtor.com, and drive right to your website. Once they're on your website, if it's a website like this, they got about 3 clicks before they become a registered user, or they go away. Okay, so the virtual tour, it's auto-created. Copy the link, get it on the internet. Okay, even share it on social network if you want, but get it out to minimum Zillow and Trulia, and if you got some of those other software platforms I mentioned, definitely by all means do that. I'm going to click the listings page, and I'm going to go over to the other 2 tools that are super important. And by the way, you can see that here's YouTube next to my virtual tour. If you associate YouTube on your profile, we'll auto upload to YouTube. Okay. The next 2 tools in terms of traffic and buyer lead generation are right here, the eFlyer and the Facebook ads here. Before I get into that, I'm going to jump into the questions. Okay. So give me a second. And let's see. Is there an opinion to have just sold, just listed, etc. on those flyers? Yes, they are. Yes, there is that option. We're going to jump into that in just a second. Can we add sold listings from before we joined L2L? Yes. I don't know how you'll get them, because if they're sold, they may not be on the internet and we cannot get them into your system. You can, however, up at the top left of this page, on the listings page, enter them kind of manually. You don't need to put everything, and mark it as sold. And the sold advertising is super strong, really, really interesting stuff. I'll send some to myself right now and you can look at them. Do you have any stats on how many leads turn into actual listings? No, I don't have that stat. I do have a lot of feedback from clients, however, telling us that they are actually getting listings. They're not just getting leads, okay? There used to be an option to have it blank. I don't know what that means, T. And is there a tutorial on how to set up the hyperlink? There sure is. So on the top, there's tutorials in 2 areas. In this tab here that says tutorials, you could actually click that, and there's a search bar and you can type in links. There's also, on these columns here, when the column is underlined, there is a tutorial, video tutorial under that. You could also, just to show you how it's easily done, this is where you set the links for a property. And when I click that button, all the links in my account are options. So I want to set the right link for the right property, right? You might have a listing in one town as opposed to another. There might be a relevant price point related to one property as opposed to another. There might be a certain subdivision or neighborhood that is important that you want on there. You want people to see your home, but you also want them to interact with your ad. You want them to get to you and request information and what's most important to that listing, you're going to know. We're not going to know that. So you want to go in here, you can type in a link name like, hot neighborhood here, and then here's the link to your website showing the listings on that, and then check active, and boom, that's going to be a link on that listing. Since somebody asked about just sold, I'm actually going to click on this eFlyer here, and I'm going to click on the just sold flyer right here. And this is going to send it to me, and I think it's important that we all look at that together to know why that's the case. And so there are statuses of every listing, we're going to jump into it right now, of just listed. You could do coming soon if you want. You get a website flyer 2 weeks later automatically. You get a virtual tour flyer automatically 2 weeks later. If you put an open house inside the system under the edit listing, you get open house tools, flyers, Facebook ads, etc. If the home goes pending, under contract, active contingent, whatever, there's a number of statuses that you can change, and that flyer with that big red banner will be right there. And of course, just sold. We got the just sold in the mailbox, so we'll go look at that. So those tools come out in an eFlyer format and in a Facebook format. Each of those tools, as I'm going to show you, are designed to generate buyers and referrals. So these two are really effective in generating buyers and referrals. So let's go have a look at what this can sort of look like. This is a just listed eFlyer. Okay, now I just did a call for one of the offices we just rolled out, and Hunter Real Estate this is what the ad looks like. It automatically goes out as soon as it hits the listing. And there's a message to the agent, and there's a message to the seller. And here's where you got to get your arms around if you're new to us. We want this to get to the seller and be sent from the seller to their friends. So there's a pre-written message. And it says, "Dear friends, we have hired Mary Montague from Hunt Real Estate to sell our home. And this and many other tools are going to help us sell faster. So if you could forward it, that would be awesome." Right? Something like that is what it says. And here it is, just listed. It's going to have the agent, their picture is going to be there. All the lead generation links are there, and all the photos of the home. Awesome, great. Generates leads, it brands. They can interact with you, email you, they can follow this home. And this happens automatically. By default, this tool is going to get sent to you, and you should forward this to the client and call them with a 5-second call and say, "Hey, I just sent you a couple tools. We're doing all this other work, but if you can forward that flyer, that would be awesome. If you could put that tool on Facebook, that would be awesome," right? Why? If you want referrals, where are you going to get referrals? From your clients, friends, and family, right? That's where you're going to get the bulk of your referrals. Not necessarily from your family, but from your clients, friends, and family. And we have multiple tools at various stages of your listing to reach out and get in front of your clients, friends, and family. So much so that even before you can sell the house, many times people say, "Hey, we see all your tools and we want to talk to you because we're thinking about real estate." So this is the e-flyer, and this is the Facebook ad. Again, it's giving the consumer or the seller directions to say, "Hey, just copy what's between the red lines and put it on Facebook. Copy here and go to Facebook." So let's see, because I already had something baked in the oven before we got on the call, and it looks like this, right? So just copy what's there and paste what's here, and this looks just like this, okay? Mary Montague, Hunt Real Estate, this and many other tools. Check it out, leave a comment. Why do we want it on the seller's wall? Okay, that's really, if you don't know why, you gotta hit it. You want it on the seller's wall because that seller, if they're on Facebook, they have probably 200 to 500 friends that have never heard of you or your office, right? Now we've got multiple tools to say, "Hey, here's coming soon, we're just listed, here's my open house," etc., etc. Their friends and family are going to hear from you about you multiple times. They're going to see your name multiple times associated with your office. That's a great thing. You're not going to be able to replicate that by hand. You just can't do it. Facebook is the #2 website in the country, okay? #1 is Google, and for you to have a presence on Google is really tough and really expensive. But to have a presence on Facebook, the #2 website, which means people are burning hours every day on this site, is very easy, and it's automated with listings to leads. So when people see this, they can click the picture, they can click here, and what are they going to see when they click any of that? They're going to see a tool designed to generate leads for you. Okay? Lead capture all over this. Click a link and get to your site, follow this home, etc., etc. That's how you can generate buyer leads and referrals from Facebook for free as part of the account. You don't even need pay-per-click advertising on Facebook. It's just going out and people are seeing about you, seeing your name, seeing that you're working in real estate with people that don't even follow you on Facebook and don't even know you're on Facebook. This is your clients, friends, and family. Okay, so that's kind of a mouthful and that's kind of different. But we've talked about the tools that generate buyer leads and referrals. The single property website, the virtual tour, the e-flyers, and the Facebook stuff, okay? So with that, I'm gonna pick up some questions and we will kind of we'll keep moving. Sounds better. Is there a tutorial to set up the hyperlink? How do we do coming soon? Good question. How do we do coming soon? Coming soon is really, a lot of our clients love to do coming soon because inventory's tight, right? So what you do here is you click this button on the top left that says create new listing. And so you got to do this kind of manually. Check this button here that says coming soon, and let's kind of do it. Let's just say, new awesome home, right? That's a listing title, right? That listing title is what will show up on Craigslist and some of the tools. And I'm just going to fill this out real quick so that we can see that together, okay? Um, let's see, 123 Main Street, Lafayette, state, California, zip code 94509, and you can put in, these kinds of numbers, whatever you feel like you need to put in. And that's gonna, that's fine. And we're just gonna kind of do this, save and add photos. You can put in more information, but you're doing coming soon, so I don't think the market is expecting a full prospectus on this property, right? So let's click here and upload photos. And when you're coming soon, you can actually just take one photo and upload it, right? You can take one photo of the front of the house. So let's see where I have L2L, and let's just do this real quick. I'm just going to put a couple photos here, right? I think if I hit Control, I can do something like that. Oop. And I'm going to click Open. You only really need one photo for coming soon because people, wait, what's the problem there? Let's just do one and keep it simple. I don't know why I was getting that grief. So it uploads it, and then it's kind of done, right? So once we've got that, I'm going to click this to copy to virtual tour. It's not really necessary for this coming soon, but we can do that. You kind of want to do that so it auto-generates a virtual tour. And then let's go to listings and let's look at that coming soon tool, okay? Give me a second. There's the coming soon tool. So what does coming soon look like? Well, when we click the single property website, coming soon has a big red thing right here. Coming soon. This home is coming soon. Schedule is showing before everyone else. Be the first to get the details. When inventory is tight, you want to market that, right? When we go over here to the e-flyer and we click on coming soon, we can just send this to ourselves, right? And that'll be in my mailbox in a second. So let's go look at the mailbox because I think we got a couple of other tools. We talked about just sold, so let's go look at that real quick. This is coming soon, and so let's look at coming soon, right? And let's look at coming soon flyer. Again, it's a message designed to go out via the selling, right? And to get out. You can use it in other areas. This is my banner. This is coming soon, new awesome home. It's designed to generate leads, right? Get the information out there. At the same time that flyer goes out, a Facebook ad comes out. And I already showed you that all you have to do is copy and put it in Facebook. Already pre-written, right? It's coming, it's going to be for sale soon. In this case, Vince Ameza from RE Company has got this and many other tools. Copy and paste, right? This is just sold. And this, I'm showing you this stuff over and over. It might be a little bit redundant. Notice that the just sold says, hey, we sold it. We're excited. We recommend Vincent. We recommend you. Here's their number and email. Already pre-done, right? You definitely want some just sold marketing out in the market. Do you want to do that by hand, or do you want us to just automatically send it out for you? This is where, while we're talking about how to generate referrals and buyer leads, I'm going to kind of also put it in your mind to think about how we've marketed this same listing multiple times, right? We talked about coming soon, just listed. What if the price reduced? Well, you're going to have a price reduced. What if it's under contract? You're going to have different tools there. Now, what if you took all those little messages and got them in front of your target market, right? What do you think is going to happen then? Well, the consumers in your target market are going to realize that you've got homes open, you've got homes selling, you've got homes just listed, and you got homes coming soon, and you've basically got a lot going on. Well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to be able to do that in your market? Are you going to put something in print and do a door knocking or something? Let's just think about that a second while I got some new questions coming. Yeah. Okay. Can you review how, okay, give me a second. How do we do coming soon? Can you review again how L2L can send leads to market leader? Yes, I can. We cannot send leads to market leader. We can send traffic to market leader. These links on the left-hand side that say Maple Grove Homes, these connect to your property search pages on market leader. So if somebody wants to click that and get to your website and register there, you're going to get a lead there, and that system knows how to manage it. However, if somebody says get the info or schedule a showing, that's going to get emailed directly to you, but we cannot map it into your market leader site. Each MLS has rules as to what to do, cannot do, coming soon. Correct, that's right. So you got to check with your MLS to see if those rules apply, that you can actually market there, right? I know that there's some talk from NAR and stuff about that, and you should probably be aware of that. But for our clients that can do it, they definitely want to use that, because inventory is tight. You want to get your name in front of the market as often as possible. Can we show the drop-down menu to select coming soon, things like that? Yeah. Good question. Let's go over to listings to leads. And when we look at, here's an active listing. Okay, here's an active listing. I can tell because it says active, right? And or A for active. Over here in red, it says CS coming soon, just listed, just sold, JS. But here's an active one. So what happens when this active goes under contract? Does that mean I can't market it? Well, your MLS may actually have a rule that says, yeah, you can. And if they say, yes, you can, go here and change this to under contract, right? Or active contingent. Or maybe you went from coming soon to just active, so you can market it as a normal listing, right? But if we go to under contract and we click save, we've got all these tools now available that say under contract, right? So when I click here and I say, now it says under contract, I've actually got a tool in my mailbox, but let's just go look at it right here under the eFlyer button. When I click on the eFlyer button, here is a magnifying glass next to under contract, and this is what it looks like, right? Your banner, big, bold, under contract, great message. It's under contract, but our agent still feels like we need to continue to market until we've sold the home. So the pre-written message about you and your office is that this isn't completely sold yet, so this agent's going to keep working hard for me. That is a pre-written message automatically sent to you. Get it to your seller and make sure your seller sells it or shares it, okay? Via email and via Facebook, okay? Got a couple more questions, and then we're going to talk about that great question. Where do you send the e-flyers? I just said it, but I'm going to repeat it. Send the flyer to your seller. There is a pre-written message that says, hey, dear friends, I'm working with Christina Hood, and our home is under contract, and Christina feels we should be still marketing our home. Please forward this to as many people as you can. Why? Because when your clients, friends, and family see multiple messages with your name talking about the work you're doing, they're going to know that you're in the business. They can click one of these links and go look at properties on your website, or they can fill out a lead, a lead capture form that says, what is my home worth, or I'd like to schedule a showing, all that, right? So that's where it's meant to go. Let's see if we got any more questions. Got it. You're welcome. So remember that question I said, hey, how are you going to let the market know effectively that you're working in the business, that you got homes that are just listed, that you've got homes that are under contract, that you've got homes that have already sold, right? That you've got open houses going on. How are you going to communicate that to the market? That is tough to do. Well, inside listings to leads, if you go up here to this tutorial page and we type in, it's a recent one, but I can't even remember how to get it. It's actually on the homepage when we log in. But let's just type in Facebook. And the answer, people, is use Facebook. Okay, that's the answer. So let's see, landing pages. There is a link right here. This is actually on the pop-up as soon as you register. As soon as you get in the account, this is like pointing at you. Watch this and learn this strategy, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit about it right now. Facebook pay-per-click advertising, and that video right there, that training, this client used 5 listings, and they weren't all her listings, and she was able to use like $3 a day to say, hey, let people see my open house in my zip code, right? So if you're in an area, and I don't know where all you guys are from, But let's say you're from Fremont. You can say, hey, here's my Fremont home. This one actually right here in the picture says Granite Bay. So I can say, hey, Facebook, when I want to boost my stuff, when I want to put my ad on Facebook, on my business page, I want to boost it. And this is the simple way to look at it. I'm going to click on Boost Post right here. And I'm not going to finish, but I'm just going to let you see it. Here's the bottom line. The criteria is let people in this zip code see my page. Okay? So if your zip code is Phoenix, or if it is Granite Bay, everybody in Granite Bay, whether they know of you or not, whether they like your page or not, whether you are friends with them or not, does not matter. What matters is they are located in the zip code that you are advertising to. Okay? There is no print campaigns that I can imagine that can be as effective on a daily basis to say, I've got homes coming, sold, just listed, open houses, virtual tours. I just don't know of another venue where you can do that. And if anybody here has an idea of where you can do that, I'd really be excited to hear about it. So put it in the chat panel. Because if you try to do that on Google, the cost is going to be enormous. The client here on that little tutorial generated over 200 leads in 30 days, putting something like $3 a day in, max, and said many days I never hit that target. But because she was using all of her tools, people were saying to her, God, you are all over the internet. They cannot even avoid this lady because she's got coming soon and this and that and open houses and blah, blah, blah. You cannot do it. You cannot replicate that. Now, if I go over and find my Google Plus page, you will see, and I'll go see if I can go find that for you. I can't, that's too hard. I wish I could. Because Tamara from Remax said a great thing to us last week. She said, Scott, I followed the directions in your call and I got a tsunami of leads. Okay? I went and posted it on Google Plus because where do you hear that I got a tsunami of leads, right? We're hearing this over and over because what I'm telling you right now about this Facebook strategy works incredibly well. Okay? The way to learn that is to go and as soon as you log in, look at the page that we're putting right in front of you. Don't ignore it, don't go around it. Now, you do have other things to do. You got to get your home listed and you got to get the open houses out and you got to take care of all that. But your long-term strategy is to build your business. I don't know of a better way to do it. So hopefully some people got some ideas in here of like better places. Yeah, did she give you any feedback on the leads? Only that she said, and it actually might be here, if you go look for the interview on this call, which might actually be in this page, she says that while she's emailing, she's like, I've got people in my car right now from these leads, and I'm getting more leads while I'm in the car communicating with you. So I think the feedback that I have, and you can actually go see us on Active Rain as well, because this Facebook thing is not brand new to us. This didn't happen like 2 weeks ago. This has been building up since October of last year. And our clients are signing up, following our instructions, and I think, well, there's actually something here from Junkie. It was actually from Fremont, California. And she's like, I've got all these leads in just a few days. People are saying, I got to turn off this ad because I'm just overwhelmed with leads, right? So I think you can get feedback on these leads here. Our clients don't want leads just to get leads to say they got leads. They really want leads to say, hey, I'm generating business, right? And so here's one from Junkie, and I'll kind of show it to you, right? Started 2 weeks ago, and in the first 3 days got 83 leads, converted 4 listings and 3 buyers. It's all about these landing pages and hard work and conversion. Thanks so much, blah, blah, blah. Okay? You can read through these reviews here and see what's going on. Is it better to use a business page or a personal page? For me, I think it's better to use a business page. Okay? And actually, I think that for 2 reasons, although Facebook changes a little bit now and then. As a personal page, in the past, you couldn't even promote this way. But I do think that you want to use a business page when you can. If you don't know how to create, if you don't have a business page, please don't go pay somebody to do it. Okay? Go to Facebook, log into your account, And right up on the top right is this little quiet upside down blue button. Click on it and then click create page. Okay? And when you click create page, it's going to take you to a place, we're going to see it in just a second, and it's going to say, wow, it's really taken more than a second. Service to use personal account to promote your business. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. Facebook has taken me a little bit of time here. But what is is it better? Oh yeah, service to use personal account. I think it is against Facebook terms of service to use a personal account to promote. I think you're right there. That has been the terms of service for a long time. It looks like my computer might be running like super slow right now. Let's see, is that going to work? But it used to be the terms of service, but I also think that I looked recently on Facebook and I had the ability to boost. So, you know, Facebook went public just over a year ago. They're looking for more ways to make money. And obviously advertising is one of those. For you as a real estate agent, oh, FB is down. Awesome. Wow. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. It's still the way to go. It's still the way to go. So we won't sit here on Facebook much longer because it seems to be kind of tricky. But I think you can understand. Yeah, it is crazy when Facebook goes down. Don't call 911. I heard people did that the last time. That's not what the police are for. So we've got multiple statuses to market your home. So just with a couple listings, you can get a ton of visibility, right, for a few dollars a day. And that you cannot replicate in other areas, right? I just don't know where you can do it. You certainly, yeah, you just can't do it. So learn that strategy, incorporate it in the long-term strategy of your business. When we find that there's something more compelling, we're going to be talking about it. But we're going to be singing this song for the rest of the year, okay? We've got new tools coming out, upgraded virtual tours. Our e-flyers are going to be upgraded, be made more look modern, more luxury style, more contemporary. So we're doing a lot of user interface stuff so that the tools look nicer, but the basic functionality of generating leads is always going to be in these tools. So the thing that I forgot to jump into, because I kind of jumped into that Facebook thing, I want to talk about how to generate seller leads, okay? Because we don't all know how to do that. I am going to point it out before I go there that if you go to the home page, this green button right here says seller lead generation. These are the instructions of what I'm going to show you right now. Landing pages. So people, what town are you in? Give me an area where you want to create a farm area. Could you do that? Just in the chat panel. Where are you? Rancho Cucamonga. Okay, wow. Of course, big long name. Rancho Cucamonga. Manhattan Beach. Yeah, I need to look at Manhattan Beach. I love that place. Okay, Rancho Cucamonga. You guys are all going to do this. You're going to log into your account and you're going to go Rancho Cucamonga. Spell it properly, capitalize it properly, because that flows right into your tools. Okay? Click Save. And when I click Save, I'm going to get this little green message, and it says your listing series, your landing page series is now ready. What does that mean? That means that you now have a landing page in every one of these niches for Rancho Cucamonga. So let's start with some of the interesting ones. FSBO. Now you've got FSBOs. You can find FSBOs on Craigslist. You can find them on Zillow for free. You can also go buy a list somewhere. But this is a landing page created for Rancho Cucamonga, and we click that link and say see landing page. What are we going to see? Your banner up top. That's my banner, right? That's my office there. And here is Rancho. Just because you're selling your home yourself doesn't mean you're marketing as a suffer. Would you like one of these free tools, right? Why would we do that? Because on average, a FSBO hands a listing over to a real estate agent within 2 to 3 months because they're tired of the process. Get to know them by giving them some free advertising. They give you the listing, just enter it in as one of your listings in the account and give those tools back to the FSBO. And then over time, you build that relationship and you convert that into a listing. Let's go back to the landing page. Okay. When we go back to the landing page, there's also an expired page. Okay. Expired listings. You get expires in your market all the time, and when those things hit expired, that seller is probably getting somewhere between 20 to 50 phone calls from various agents who know, like, that's what I got to do. How likely are they going to want to talk to all those people? Maybe they just want a little more information on why their home didn't sell, right? And this lead capture form is designed for that, okay? So you can copy, there's a little website URL up top that you can't see in the visual here, or maybe you can, but in the recording you can. Copy that and get that out, right? Email it out, put it on a postcard if you want, and do a mail and try to get some leads from expired. But the one tool that's really created a lot of excitement for us at Listings to Leads, and I think you see it from even a couple of other companies, is this property valuation tool. And this tool is automatically created, and we click See Landing Page, and this has by default kind of a suburban picture in the background. You can change that, right? You're over there, somebody said Manhattan Beach. You can upload a photo in the back of this so that there's a Manhattan Beach kind of, beach looking thing. Or whatever you need is a skyline, a landmark, a Google Maps, whatever picture you want that helps represent and make this page relevant to your market. It says Rancho Cucamonga in this one, right? So this page is really designed, I'm just gonna kind of put in and show you what this actually looks like. I'm going to say Alpine Road, 1233 Walnut Creek, and I'm going to click Go. What happens here is it takes us to the next page, and it actually brings us to a Google map, and it says, okay, now we're going to create this valuation. Please give us your email, and if you'd like a free report, get that, right? What we're not doing, and let's be clear, what we're not doing is we are not creating a valuation for you. We are sending you, the agent, the lead, saying that this person put in this email address or this address, and they're looking for it. So this is what we call a two-page version. The first page gets the address. The second page gets the email, and as you might imagine, some people just leave this page and don't put in an email, okay? Now for some of you that might be problematic. They're like, I don't want to lead without an email. For some agents, they want more leads, and they'll figure out the contact info later. It's your choice. I'm going to show you where to make that choice. Instead of seeing the landing page, click Edit Landing Page. And when we click Edit Landing Page, you'll see that there's the default image. You can also upload a big image as the background, 1900 pixels wide. But down here are choose your landing page version. So there is a two-page version, which is the top left one, and I showed you, the first page gets the address, the second page gets the email. The one-page version, I'm going to click on that now, gets, it looks almost the same, but you can see there's a lower level. You can't click Send Now without an email address. So if you really want to get a lead with an email, use this one, right? Because you're not going to get a lead without an email. On the edit page, you can also require a phone number, and we don't recommend that. You're going to get very few leads that way, okay? So it's your choice. Do you really want an email or do you want more leads? You can make that call, and you got the two separate tools to do that. If you want to get fancy, you can also go over here and say, I want this auto fill-in tool, right? And you might like that for whatever reason. But what it does is it says, hey, is this your address? Yes. So the person doesn't even have to fill it out. They can just click that green button, yes, and bang, it's in there. Okay? So that's kind of cool, new technology. You see that advertised. You are probably seeing other real estate agents use technology like this on Facebook. It is part of the platform. It's part of your account. So you can have a separate page for Rancho Cucamonga. You can run a separate page for Manhattan Beach. You can have a separate page like this for Seal Beach. And you can be running separate lead campaigns on Facebook. And what you're doing is you're saying, hey, everybody in the Rancho Cucamonga zip code, I want them to see that. And for this page, if you're doing a standalone target for just listing leads, I usually recommend something like $20 a day for 3 days. Usually people get enough leads that they're like, whoa, that's kind of incredible. And just test it out. I will give you a couple of other pointers here because sometimes the tutorials are a little bit mixed up. When you get asked by Facebook, they give you 3 options of where to put it, right? You can put your criteria. I just recommend you just focus on the zip code. Your criteria, the three options are in the news feed, which is right in the center of listing of Facebook, or on the sidebar, or mobile enabled. Does it work? You know, can I do it on a smartphone? Our tools are mobile enabled, but don't put it on mobile. Just put it in the news feed, because most people's eyeballs go right to the center column and they just scan things, and so you want to just keep it there. You want clicks to turn into leads. Same thing goes for by mobily enable it. Not many people want to fill out a form on a little thing on their smartphone like that, right? They'll go click around and stuff, but if they get to that page, like, I don't want to do it, I'll do it later, come back. So that's why we say, just keep it on the news feed. Now, I will tell you this, we certainly have clients come back and say, hey, I put it on the sidebar and I get leads there too. So test it out. Things work differently in different parts of the country, okay? I'm gonna repeat it though. Get this page or one like it and get it on Facebook. You're gonna get the fastest return for the lowest amount of money in generating listing leads, seller leads, okay? I don't know of a better place to do it. There are other things to do. You can incorporate this with a postcard, and that will be nice too. And you can put it on Bing, pay-per-click, and you put it on Google, and you'll get leads there too. They may be more expensive, but it works, right? But the most leads for the least amount of money seems to be coming from Facebook. So let's go look at the questions. And that's kind of the end of my story, guys. But I will certainly answer questions here. And we got a lot, so I appreciate that. But the leads will not go to market leader, right? Yeah. Will they go to my email? Yes. You're going to get the lead emailed directly to you. There's also a tab inside listings to leads called leads, and they'll be there right there as well, up at the top under agent desktop. But we do email them to you directly, okay? Nice office. Yeah, thanks. Can you please show the apartments for rent one? Yeah, okay. So this is a landing page, and I will point out also, is there an apartments for rent here? I don't know if we do. I do see condos for, oh, apartments for rent. You know, that's funny. I don't even look at that. I haven't even looked at that. But when we click on it, we go here. Free list of Rancho Cucamonga apartments for rent, right? You can fill this out and bang, you get a lead. They put that in there, boom, you go there. It does not give an instant value, correct. One of the things that we knew in our research is that real estate agents do not like, you know, there are a couple of companies out there, big ones that you know of, that have that kind of look of a page, and they create an instant value based on some metric that they're doing. And 9 times out of 10, that number is off. So your first interaction with that lead is that, oh, I know I've given you a number, but that's not the right number. People don't like that conversation. Real estate agents don't like that conversation, so we don't even get into that, okay? Is it possible to mask the domain URL with another domain? Yes, it is, Christina. However, when you're doing this strategy with Facebook pay-per-click, they will not allow that. But a lot of clients want to take a tool, or they may do this. They may take this page and put it on a postcard. And that postcard they're going to mail out, and it's going to say, hey, if you want to know your home value, they actually take a picture of this page, put it on the back of the postcard, and on the front of the postcard, they say, hey, if you want your value, go to this page, Rancho Cucamonga home value today, right? Whatever your URL is. But you point that URL, let's say you bought it at GoDaddy, say, hey, I want it to go to this page, this URL, searchallproperties.com/Rancho Cucamonga, right? And that's how you can use it. So forward masking is really interesting with print advertising, a little bit in online advertising, but not useful at all, and actually breaks Facebook advertising. How do these buyers and sellers see or receive our landing pages? So Mary, I hope you're understanding that these landing pages should be pushed out via Facebook. That's my top one recommendation. They can be incorporated in print and in other online strategies. What is autofill? Autofill, we're actually looking at right here, allows the page to actually see the address where the person is sitting. And it says, would you like the address on this? Would you like the value on this home, right? And yes or no, right? And so that's what autofill is. One page, less leads, more info. Oh, hey Thomas. Less leads, more info. Not necessarily more info, except for the fact that you do get an email address, so that is more info. But yes, less leads. We'll be posting this recording to our Facebook page, so you can see this after the fact. Got more questions here. And so this is question and answer time, guys, so definitely load them in there. Thanks, Tom. Glad you're able to understand this. Leads with address only versus full data. Good question. When you receive a lead, we actually call that a partial lead. We give you some instructions of what to do. What I do want to suggest to you is partial leads are good leads. Our clients have been coming back since we started these landing pages and saying, I get those leads and I get a way of engaging them, and I'm so glad I get those leads. I'm not going to use that tighter version where I require an email because my business grows better by just working those partial leads. Okay. I hope that's clear. Do we send postcard or direct mail sequenced? I'm not sure what that means, but if you're going to do any kind of print mail campaign, use our whatever relevant landing page in combination. Put the URL on that. Don't just send a flyer, okay? Don't just send a postcard. Get some online lead capture, because you guys know this. People don't want to talk to you, okay? I'm not trying to upset you, but people don't want to talk to me. I'm in sales, right? You go to the shopping store or Macy's or wherever, and somebody asks, can I help you? No. I know what I'm doing, right? I know I'm looking for a pair of pants and I don't need your help. So use a landing page. It allows people to get information, and that's what's going on, okay? Recording not in tutorial section, just Facebook. We might put it on the tutorial section. We usually do, and we actually have a lot of recorded webinars on tutorial. Most of them Scott does. I do a few, but yeah, we can look at there. Let's see, came in late, perhaps place where my buyer agent can create buyer seminars. Yeah, so that's a good question. You see this one here that says custom landing page. We actually did this for an office down in Marina Del Rey on the coast of California, and they were working with Chase, right? Chase Bank on some kind of new mortgage program, right? So here I've got a custom landing page, right? And I've already got a custom landing page for Rancho Cucamonga. And this is a blank page with a lead capture form. So in that case, they just changed the banner, and it said Chase and their office. And then it said, hey, we're doing this seminar to help new buyers use this new loan program, right? Whatever you want to do, you can put that message in the blank spot over here by clicking on edit here and editing that page. Okay, so I'm going to take a second to get there, but let's go down. Give me a second, because the thing is running. My computer's bogging down, but there is a little editor page, okay? And you can change that information right there. It's blank now because there is no information. If you're going to edit a foreclosure page or a short sale page or a free apartment list, you might actually want to edit the existing page. Maybe you want to put a picture. Maybe you're marketing apartments in a large development, right? And so you want to have a picture of that development. Maybe the waterfall out front, and people go, oh yeah, I know that place, I want to go. You can edit those pages right here, okay? So that's it. Got it. When I try to cut and paste a link on Facebook, it said the photo is still small. When I try to cut and paste, is still small, what should I do? I'm not exactly sure that question. It may be too small. You might be able to upload it. Usually you can upload a photo right into Facebook right there. So we get the lead as an email, SMS, or both. You get the lead as an email. I will point out that we do also have 800 call capture. I haven't talked about it today. It's an addition. I think it's like an additional $10 a month. But in that case, if you're using IVR, which is like 800 number. You can short code this number to a this text number to a short code, or you get 800 number recording. If you incorporate that, then we do send you an email and a text of the lead, but there is an additional cost for that. Partial lead sending postcards. Yeah. Partial lead sending. Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. When you get a partial lead, you've got to get a process. You've got to have some follow-up material to get that going. Exactly right. Pixels. Well, pixels has to do with small or large images. And let's see here. I got more questions. So those pixels, if they're too small, that means that you've got a very small image and Facebook is going to expand it and it's going to look really bad. Okay, so you just want a larger image, and that's what that's talking about. Must all leads for each different program go into the same one, emails or phone, or can we use multiples? Must all leads? No, they can go multiple. They can go in different areas. So let's just jump to the profile real quick and let's look at that. There are two kinds of places where leads can go, right? And when we go to our profile, there's a couple things that you might want to be thinking of. You might have an assistant where you want tools to go. You might have a buyer's agent where you want leads to go. You might have a mortgage lender partner where you want mortgage finance questions to go to. You can totally do that on the profile page, okay? Let's see, same article, use different ones. Yeah, so I think that answers that question. So everybody, if we don't have more questions, I want to thank everybody for your time. I'm going to stop this recording up online.